You don't need to curse him out. You don't need to prove a point. You don't even need to wait for him to see what he lost. What you need to do is rise quietly, boldly, beautifully. When someone hurts you, especially someone you gave your heart to, it feels like they reached inside and twisted something sacred. But here's the truth. The pain they caused does not define your worth. It doesn't get to have the final say over your life. You do. There was a version of you that didn't know better. A version of you that gave too much, loved too hard, ignored the red flags. That version of you was not weak. She was learning. And now she knows. You don't chase a man who broke you. You rebuild the woman he tried to destroy. You handle a man who hurt you by letting him see what he can no longer touch. You handle him by becoming unavailable to chaos. You handle him by showing up for you the way you showed up for him. Let your silence be your sermon. Let your healing be your testimony. You see, when you stop reacting, when you stop explaining, when you stop begging, he starts noticing. Noticing your peace, noticing your glow, noticing that he no longer has the power to pull you back into confusion. There's a special kind of strength that comes when a woman stops fighting for what God already removed. That strength doesn't scream. It doesn't argue, it just moves different. You don't need revenge, you need renewal. You don't need him to apologize. You need to forgive for you so your spirit can be light again. And if he ever circles back trying to return, let your growth answer the door. Let your boundaries speak for you. Let your peace protect you. Because the truth is, he was never strong enough to handle the woman you're becoming. So how do you handle a man who hurt you? You release him. You refocus. And most of all, you rise. Just because he gave you pain doesn't mean you have to hold it. Just because he handed you heartbreak, disappointment, confusion, that doesn't mean you have to live with it like it's part of your identity. You are not the wound. You are the woman who survived it. There comes a moment in every woman's journey when she realizes, I may not have had a choice in how he treated me, but I have every choice in how I heal from it, and that is power. That's the moment you stop dragging around memories that don't serve you. That's the moment you stop replaying conversations that won't ever change. That's the moment you drop the bag of pain at the altar and say, this doesn't belong to me anymore. See, we often confuse love with responsibility. You felt responsible to fix what he broke, to carry the guilt for why he changed, to hold on to the what if and maybe if I was enough. But sis, hear me, you were not the problem. His inability to value you is not your burden to carry. His betrayal is not your weight to bear. You don't have to carry pain like it's your punishment. You can lay it down and walk in peace. You can breathe again, smile again, dream again. Let him carry what he created. Let him sit with the silence he caused. Let him deal with the consequences of hurting someone who only wanted to love him right. Your job now is to set yourself free, not by pretending it didn't happen, but by choosing that it no longer has power over your future. The pain he gave you, that's his legacy. But the healing you choose, that's yours. You don't have to carry what's not yours anymore. You are allowed to drop it, bless it, and move forward with nothing but grace in your hands and fire in your spirits. Closure doesn't come from him, it comes from your healing. Closure doesn't come from him, it comes from your healing. There is a misconception that closure is something we get from others, that if we get the right words, the right apology, the right explanation, somehow we'll feel whole again. But the truth is, closure is not something anyone can give you, it's something you give yourself. We often place our healing in the hands of the person who hurt us, waiting for them to fix what they broke, to say the words that make everything make sense. But here's the harsh reality. They may never say those words. They may never apologize. They may never acknowledge the hurt they caused. And if you're waiting for them to come back with a neat little bow of an explanation, you will spend your life in a cycle of waiting for something that may never come. Closure is a decision, not an event. It's the decision to stop waiting for the apology you may never receive. It's the decision to stop replaying the moments where you feel abandoned, betrayed, or misunderstood. It's the decision to stop allowing your peace to be dependent on someone else's action. You see, healing doesn't begin when he admits his wrongs. Healing begins the moment you stop depending on him to make you whole. Healing begins when you choose to stop allowing his actions to define your worth. Healing begins when you make the bold decision to say, I am worthy of peace, of joy, of freedom, whether or not he ever recognizes what he took from me. Real closure happens when you accept that you cannot control how someone else feels about you, but you can control how you respond. Real closure comes when you realize that what they did to you does not determine your future. You don't need them to understand your pain to heal from it. You don't need them to validate your emotions for you to move forward. You need only your own courage to walk away from the past that no longer serves you. True closure is when you stop giving him the power to influence your future. Is when you reclaim your narrative, when you decide that the story he wrote for you doesn't have to be the one you live out. You write your own chapter, and in that chapter you heal, you grow, and you thrive. The longer you stay waiting for his version of closure, the longer you stay stuck in a place where you can't move on, where you can't grow, where you can't become who you were meant to be. The moment you decide that your healing is in your hands is the moment you finally set yourself free. So stop waiting for him to make it right. Stop waiting for him to give you the answers. Stop waiting for him to validate your feelings. Your closure is found in your healing, in letting go of the belief that you need him to understand or apologize for you to move on. Let the peace you've been searching for come from within you, not from his words, not from his actions, not from his recognition. You don't need him to write the ending to your story. You are the author of your life. And when you decide to heal, when you decide to choose your peace over the past, you will find closure waiting for you on the other side. Your silence speaks louder than your reaction. Your silence speaks louder than your reaction. In moments of hurt, betrayal, and frustration, our instinct is often to react. We want to shout. We want to prove we're right. We want to make the other person feel what we feel. But here's the thing about reaction. It's temporary. It's a burst of emotion that, no matter how loud or intense, fades away. It doesn't leave a lasting impression on the person who hurt you, and most importantly, it doesn't heal the wound inside of you. But silence has power. Silence carries weight in ways that words never could. Your silence is not weakness, it is strength. It is control. It is the act of choosing peace over chaos, of choosing to respond to pain in a way that gives you dignity, that gives you back your peace. Think about this. When someone hurts you, whether intentionally or unintentionally, their behavior is a reflection of them, not of you. But often we get so caught up in wanting them to understand how much they've hurt us that we forget to protect our own spirit. We forget that our worth is not defined by their actions, but by how we choose to respond. And sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. In a world that pushes us to always react, to always speak out, to always defend ourselves and fight for validation, your silence becomes an act of rebellion. You are telling the world, and more importantly yourself, that you are no longer willing to waste your energy trying to prove your value. You are teaching the person who hurt you that their actions no longer have access to your heart. Their words no longer hold any power over you. Your silence is the ultimate boundary. It is you saying, you do not get to disturb my peace anymore. When you respond with silence, you force the other person to sit with the consequences of their actions. You let them see that they can't control you with their words or behavior. They may have expected you to react with anger or sadness, but instead you've taken your power back. And that silence speaks volumes. It says, I no longer need to prove anything to you. It says, I am at peace with myself and I no longer need your validation to feel whole. Your silence forces the other person to face the truth they were trying to avoid. It forces them to question their own actions, to reflect on the hurt they caused without you having to say a single word. It gives you the space to heal, to grow, and to protect your heart from any further pain. In your silence, you regain your strength. And here's the thing, your silence will echo long after the moment has passed. When you react, they see your hurt, but when you remain silent, they see your power. This silence doesn't mean you're weak. This silence means you are strong enough to walk away from unnecessary drama. You are strong enough to not engage in fights that do not serve your growth. You are strong enough to let go of the need to defend yourself against people who will never understand your worth. You are strong enough to protect your peace, to shield your heart, and to move forward. In fact, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do when someone hurts you is to choose to remain silent. Let your absence speak louder than any words ever could. Let your silence be your answer. Let it be a reminder that you will not allow anyone, no matter how close or how far, to disturb your inner peace. Your silence is not surrender, it is strength, it is wisdom, it is maturity, and ultimately it is your way of saying, I refuse to allow you to control my energy anymore. Let him feel the weight of losing access to you. Let him feel the weight of losing access to you. There's something incredibly powerful about knowing your worth and understanding that your presence is a gift. Your energy is sacred. Your love, your time, your attention, they are all precious resources. And when someone who has had access to these things hurts you, betrays you, or takes you for granted, they should feel the weight of what they've lost. Too often we are quick to accept apologies, quick to forgive, quick to reopen doors that were once slammed shut. But what if instead of rushing back to offer forgiveness or another chance, we let them feel the absence of us? What if instead of trying to prove how much we care, we gave them the chance to realize just how much they took for granted? Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is make them feel the void you leave when you walk away. Think about it. When someone has been allowed to walk in and out of your life without boundaries, they begin to take your presence for granted. They start thinking that they have unlimited access to your love, your forgiveness, and your grace. They forget that there's a value to your time, to your heart. When you make the decision to pull back, to cut off access, they are forced to see the true value of what they had. They are forced to sit with the reality that they no longer have the right to take from you as they once did. Letting him feel the weight of losing access to you is not about punishing him. It's about teaching him a lesson he may never have learned. You are not a revolving door. You are not someone to be dismissed and then returned to at convenience. You are a woman of worth, and your presence should be treated as such. The moment you remove yourself from his world is the moment he begins to realize that you were a constant, a support, a love, a light, and now it's gone. Your absence should be enough to make him understand the gravity of his action. And if he never fully grasps the significance of losing you, if he never feels the weight of your absence, that is a lesson in itself. It means he wasn't worthy of your presence to begin with. You are not just giving away your time or your emotions. You are giving away pieces of your soul when you open up to someone. And when they mishandle that gift, you are under no obligation to keep offering it again and again. Your energy is valuable, and when it is misused or taken for granted, it's okay to pull back and make it clear that they can't access it anymore. But here's where the power truly lies. When you walk away, when you detach, when you set boundaries, you make space for something better. You teach them that the access they once had was not guaranteed. You make them see that they are not entitled to your time, your affection, or your care just because they existed in your life at one point. You show them that there are consequences to mistreating people who love you. In the process, you are also teaching yourself how to value your own time and energy. You are teaching yourself that you are worth more than being anyone's second choice, their backup plan, or their convenience when they feel like it. You are teaching yourself that you deserve to be chosen, loved, and respected in a way that aligns with your worth. Let them feel the weight of losing access to you. Let them experience the void they've created. Because the truth is, when someone realizes the value of what they've lost, they either come back with the respect and understanding you deserve, or they walk away and you realize that they were never worth holding on to in the first place. Either way, you win. You are not just a chapter in their life, you are the entire story. And when they can't see your worth, it's time for you to write a new chapter. One where you are the main character, one where you are not treated as an option, but as the priority. Let him feel the weight of what he's lost, and let that be the very thing that propels you into the life you deserve. One where your presence is celebrated, not taken for granted. Turn your brokenness into wisdom, not walls. It's easy to let heartbreak, disappointment, and pain turn into a defense mechanism. When life has knocked you down, when people have hurt you, when trust has been betrayed, it's natural to want to build walls. We build them high and thick, brick by brick, until we feel safe again. But what if, instead of building walls, we chose to transform that brokenness into wisdom? Pain is inevitable. We all experience it in different forms. Heartbreak, betrayal, failure, loss. And yes, that pain can leave deep scars. It can feel like you've been shattered into pieces, unsure of how to put yourself back together. But brokenness does not have to mean weakness. Brokenness can be a powerful force for growth. If you allow it to, your pain can teach you things that peace could never. It can open doors to understanding, resilience, and insight that shape you into someone stronger, wiser, and more in tune with your true self. When you turn your brokenness into wisdom, you begin to understand the depth of your own strength. Every time you've been hurt, every time you face a setback, you've learned something valuable about yourself. You've learned what you're willing to tolerate, what you can't accept, and what your boundaries truly are. Those lessons are treasures, not scars to hide behind, but markers of your growth. They are the wisdom that will guide you forward and prevent you from making the same mistakes again. Instead of using your pain to isolate yourself, to shut others out, you can use it to teach you. Pain offers you a mirror, reflecting parts of yourself that you may not have noticed before. It shows you where you need healing, where you need growth, and where you need more self-love. And when you transform that pain into wisdom, you start to see it as a tool, not a punishment. Walls keep people out, but they also trap you in. They keep you from experiencing the love, joy, and connection that you deserve. Walls prevent growth because they block the very thing that heals us, vulnerability. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of courage. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, when you allow yourself to feel without fear of being hurt again, you open yourself up to the possibility of greater love, greater growth, and greater connection. But wisdom, on the other hand, is the bridge that allows you to move forward without losing who you are. It is the ability to take what has happened to you and use it to guide your decisions, your boundaries, and your actions. Wisdom allows you to love without losing yourself. It lets you embrace life fully, knowing that while you may get hurt again, you now know how to protect your peace, how to heal faster, and how to never settle for less than you deserve. By turning your brokenness into wisdom, you're saying, I am not defined by my pain. I am defined by my ability to rise above it, to learn from it, and to become a better version of myself because of it. Your pain doesn't have to be the end of your story. It can be the beginning of a new chapter, one where you become a warrior who walks through life with strength, grace, and insight. When you turn your brokenness into wisdom, you are free to forgive, free to love again, and free to trust again. But you do so from a place of empowerment, not from a place of fear. You are not building walls to protect yourself from others. You are building bridges to a future filled with possibility and growth. So, don't let your pain harden you. Don't let it make you cold, cynical, or untrusting. Don't allow it to close you off from the world, from opportunities, from love. Instead, allow your pain to refine you. Allow it to soften your heart, to make you more compassionate, more understanding, and more connected to the world around you. Turn your brokenness into wisdom, and let that wisdom guide you to a future that is brighter, more fulfilling, and more aligned with who you are meant to be. Because when you do, you won't just survive, you'll thrive. You'll become someone who knows their worth, who values their journey, and who understands that the greatest strength comes not from avoiding pain, but from transforming it into something beautiful. God saw it all. Trust the lesson, not the loss. When life hurts, when you're in the midst of pain, it can feel overwhelming. It can feel like you've been betrayed, overlooked, or abandoned. And in those moments, it's easy to focus on the loss. You look at what you've lost, whether it's a relationship, a job, a dream, or even a sense of security, and it feels like everything has been stripped away. But in these moments, it's essential to remember that God saw it all. He saw the betrayal, the struggle, the hurt, and the moments you felt abandoned. And even when you felt like no one was watching, He was right there every step of the way. When things fall apart, it's hard not to focus on the pieces scattered around you. The pain can feel so real, so consuming, that it clouds your vision. You may start to think that the loss defines you, or that you were meant to suffer because of it. But God doesn't just see the moment of loss. He sees the bigger picture. He sees what you don't see yet. He understands the process you are going through and the lesson that will eventually unfold. It's easy to ask, why me, when life doesn't go the way we expect it to, when the things we hold dear slip through our fingers. But the truth is, God's perspective is far wider than ours. He knows that sometimes loss is necessary to make room for something greater. Something better than you could have ever imagined for yourself. Sometimes He allows you to walk through the fire because He knows that on the other side you'll be stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The loss you're feeling isn't the end. It's part of the journey, part of the process of growth. We often place too much emphasis on the losses we experience in life. We think that because something or someone is gone, it was meant to stay that way. But God sees things from an eternal perspective. The lessons we learn in moments of loss are often the most profound. He allows these lessons to shape us, to mold us into who we are meant to become. While we're focused on the pain of losing something or someone, He's focused on the growth that will come from that very pain. Trusting the lesson means understanding that what you're going through is not meaningless. It's not random. There is purpose in the pain, purpose in the disappointment, and purpose in the separation. God is teaching you resilience, patience, and understanding. He's teaching you to rely on His wisdom instead of your own limited understanding. When you trust the lesson, you let go of the need to understand everything in the moment and embrace the fact that in due time you will. Loss can feel like a rejection, but God is not rejecting you. He is redirecting you. He is guiding you towards something more aligned with your true purpose. He's clearing the path for something greater to emerge. The lesson is about learning to trust Him, to trust that He has your best interests at heart, even when it doesn't make sense. Even when the pain is so real, God is still present. He is still working, and he is still with you in every moment, even in your most difficult moments of loss. When we trust the lesson and not the loss, we stop defining ourselves by what we no longer have. Instead, we begin to see how that loss served a purpose, how it helped us grow, how it opened doors we never imagined, or how it allowed us to become the person we are meant to be. God's hand is always on you, even in the loss. He is teaching you to look beyond the immediate pain and trust in the bigger picture he has for you. God saw it all. Every tear, every heartbreak, every moment of doubt. And he promises that the lesson you're meant to learn from the loss will make you stronger, more compassionate, and more prepared for what's ahead. Certainly, here's a conclusion to tie everything together. In the midst of your pain and loss, remember that God saw it all. Every hurt, every heartbreak, every moment of struggle. And while the loss may feel overwhelming, trust that it is not the end of your story. God is guiding you, teaching you, and molding you through these challenges. The lessons that emerge from your brokenness are far more valuable than the things you've lost. Don't focus on the void left behind, but on the strength that's being built within you. The lessons he has for you will shape you into someone wiser, stronger, and more prepared for the blessings ahead. Every setback is just a setup for something greater, and every lesson learned brings you one step closer to the person you are meant to become. Trust the process, trust the lesson, and remember that your journey is far from over. What you've lost does not define you, but the wisdom you gain through it will carry you forward into a future filled with purpose, growth, and a deeper